Listing my first products for sale on Etsy was one of the best decisions I've ever made. At first, I thought that Etsy was a low traffic marketplace that wasn't able to provide me the type of success I was looking for. But after doing a little bit of research, I was able to find out how much some of these shops are actually making. From posting my first product a couple years ago, it would take me months to fully commit to growing a full-time Etsy shop that would end up earning me a ridiculous amount of money, as well as teaching me things about e-commerce and business in general. So today I want to share with you 6 Etsy shop ideas that almost anyone could start with as little money down as possible. Some of these shops are making over $20,000 a month in profit, not revenue, and far beyond that. So even if you're drastically less successful when you first start out, there's plenty of room to scale with each one of these ideas. I've included ideas from shops that I've ran successfully, some that are almost completely passive, and enough variation between the ideas so you can pick something that you actually like and you're not stuck with a side hustle that you hate doing. I've taken out all of the guesswork and tried to make this as easy to understand as possible, so let's get right into it. Years ago, you would have had to literally open up a brick and mortar shop, buy bulk inventory, and keep all of that inventory on hand, ready to fulfill any orders that you got, if you were lucky enough to get some orders. Nowadays, all you need is a computer and you don't have to pay for anything in advance. This business model, called print on demand, allows you to start a gift shop or clothing brand with literally no upfront costs. Printify is one of these print on demand companies, and they connect you with a warehouse that's going to hold all of the inventory. Your job with this business model is to come up with a unique design and upload it to a t-shirt. Now, there's lots of other types of products, but I think t-shirts are the easiest one to get sales with. Now, Printify allows you to connect with Etsy directly. So after you make a design that you think might sell, you upload it to a product like a t-shirt. You can just hit publish and it'll post it directly to your Etsy store where it's ready to be purchased. We can just switch out the listing image to something nicer than the default one, and when someone comes along and purchases the item that you just listed, the order will get sent directly to Printify, and they'll have one of their warehouses print the design on the item that the customer ordered, and they'll package it up and ship it directly to the customer without you ever even having to touch the product. This is the exact business model that I've used to hit 7 figures, and it continues to make me multiple 6 figures each year. Now, I found this shop called Fast Custom Tees, and they have over 126,000 sales. With their average cost of about $20.79, that's just the product cost plus shipping, and we multiply it by the amount of sales to get an estimated revenue, it comes out to about $2.6 million. A lot of the best-selling designs are stupidly simple and use free fonts like this, so you don't have to be a professional graphic designer to make this work. This shop, called Ikerson Ltd, I've estimated to do about $2.8 million, and look at how simple some of their best-selling designs are. I have a design tutorial on my channel if you're interested, but there are other options like selling custom t-shirts with print on demand as well. This makes it probably the easiest business to start, because you make a listing that looks like this, that's just a picture of a shirt with the word custom written on it. The customer will tell you exactly what text they want printed on the t-shirt when they place the order, so you literally just have to type out their simple text design, place it on top of the shirt that they ordered in Printify, and Printify will handle everything else from printing the t-shirt to shipping it directly to the customer. So you could do this whole business without ever having to come up with your own ideas if you don't want to. Now, with $2.6 million in sales, from my experience selling shirts, you'll only keep about 25 to 35% of that in profit. That's after you pay all of the product cost and Etsy fees. You can basically start this business completely for free by selling these basic custom text designs, just minus the Etsy listing fees, which I'll have an affiliate link down below if it's working, which will get you 40 free Etsy listings when you click through the link. Now, this next one might be the lowest barrier to entry option that can still make you 6 figures. Selling digital stickers isn't something that a lot of people realize sells super well. It's a pretty niche market, but selling digital stickers for an application like GoodNotes or OneNote is a highly profitable business. This shop, called Happy Downloads, sells digital stickers and sticker packs for about $8.63 on average. They have other products like digital planners, but some of their best sellers are these digital sticker packs, and a lot of these are extremely simple stickers. By multiplying their average sales price by the amount of sales that they've gotten, I estimate that this shop has likely done around $990,000 in sales. Now, since they're selling digital products, that probably means that they're taking home about 91% of that after Etsy takes all of their fees. Now, I've actually done an entire video on how to make stickers using AI tools. If you follow this method from my video, you'll spend about $30 a month on a Midjourney license and then just 20 cents per listing fee. This process is really simple, where you just go into Midjourney AI and ask it to paint you a sticker. It'll make one right before your eyes, and then you just have to digitally cut it out from the background and upload it for sale on Etsy. This business would be almost completely passive if you're selling the digital download stickers, and just slightly less passive if you're going with the print-on-demand route. But either way, this can be a great business idea. It can be really low skill if you're new, and since it's so niche, you aren't going to be dealing with a ton of other competition. And there's a ton of room for creativity. For example, this shop called Wild Oak Stickers sells funny sayings on their stickers, and I estimate they've done close to $562,000 in sales. Your startup costs would be anywhere from $0 to about $43 a month, depending on if you used Midjourney or a simple text design software like Canva. But you also have the potential of literally making hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing this. This next one is one of the most insane shops that I've ever seen, just because of how much money it's making simply by selling custom jewelry. There's a shop called Caitlin Minimalist doing this exact thing. Now, I've estimated what this shop has made, and it's absolutely nuts. Using the same calculation as before, with a very conservative $15 per order and the over 2 million sales, this shop has done far beyond $31 million. That's just crazy. The craziest thing is you can find the exact same offering on AliExpress for $6. Without the welcome bonus. Meaning if you offered something similar on Etsy and then go place the order for the same necklace on AliExpress and have it shipped directly to your customer, you're basically drop shipping a very similar item without ever even having to hold inventory or even touch the item. Now, at first, I was worried about the shipping times with a custom product from AliExpress, which it is a little bit longer, but in comparison to when the original would arrive, it's not that far off. If you sold these items for the same price, you could make probably around an $18 profit per order. And again, you never have to hold any inventory ahead of time. You'll only pay for the necklace after you get an order. And if you are worried about selling from AliExpress, you could always choose a little bit more premium of a product like this engraved necklace that will ship out in about 1 to 6 days. Now, this isn't the exact same product, but it'll avoid all of the problems that could potentially come with selling from AliExpress. Now, to make this business work, you'd really have to make your custom jewelry listings stand out from the competition. It would mostly look like refining your listing images until you get something that really sticks. I think that regardless of which direction you went with this, you're in one of the most profitable niches on Etsy. But it's important to remember that after the product cost and Etsy fees, they're not keeping 100% profit. Jewelry makes an average of 42 to 47% in profit, so even if this shop we looked at did half of that at only 20%, they've still made well over $16 million in profit. Now, the startup costs would be very low if you're dropshipping these, because you'd only really need to come up with a 20-cent listing fee each time you listed a new product, or any product photography or sample products that you wanted to buy to spice up your listings. Now, this is where we start getting into a little bit of the more skill-based shop ideas. But learning how to do this successfully will absolutely give you an edge against your competition and just make it really hard for your competitors. And this business idea that's almost completely passive is logo creation, which sounds kind of hard, so let me explain. Now, this shop that we're looking at sells pre-made and custom logo designs. And after looking at them, I have to say that they're all pretty simple designs. Now, they're selling their logos for about $10 a piece, which means they've likely done around $523,000 with their 52,000 sales. I also noticed that they have multiple packages available for each logo, so their profit is likely much higher. We're just not able to exactly see which package is being purchased most often. These templates are a great tool for new business owners who don't want to go through the hassle of making their own logo. They can just buy a pre-made template and fill out their own business information and they're good to go. Making logos is one of those things that the more you do it, the better you get at it. But how do you even go about making logos if you're not a graphic designer? Well, let me introduce you to Canva, which you probably already know about. Now, Canva is $13 a month and you get access to all of their graphics and fonts. There are already a ton of great logo templates that we can use to get inspiration, and this shows you what kind of graphics Canva has available to use. If I click through to one, you're also able to see that they offer these watercolor elements, a lot of great font options, and other elements that you could add to your logo. Now, in Canva, after you've created the logo file, you have the option to share it as a template, and this is what we would use to actually sell the logos. When someone buys the logo from you off of Etsy, you would share this link with them, and they would get a copy of the logo that they can edit as much as they want without affecting your original design. We could definitely make logos that are the same quality as this one using the resources from Canva with a little bit of time. To be successful at this, just like anything else, you just have to practice and get good at making logos and figure out what type of logos you get really good at making. You could branch off and make real estate type logos, beauty brand or makeup logos, restaurant or food, or photography, or really any industry that you can think of. This would allow you to reach the most amount of customers with your logo shop, so you only have one focus by making logos, but you're able to target a bunch of different industries and interest groups with your shop, which means you can expand your market share and get a lot more sales. Again, probably a 91% profit margin on Etsy after Etsy keeps their fees, and for this business, your startup cost should be really low again, around $13 if you're paying for the Canva subscription, which you'll need if you want to sell your logos as templates. And then you'll have to pay the 20-cent listing fee each time you list a new logo for sale. Now, this next idea is literally how I first got started selling on Etsy. If it wasn't for this specific niche, I probably never would have continued trying to sell online in general. And the business I'm talking about is professional and small business resources. Things like resumes and business information sheets. Now, a lot of you guys don't know this, but a couple years ago, when the world went into lockdown, I was a broke real estate agent during one of the worst times to have just gotten into real estate, and I needed to make some money. As I was scrambling to get some money coming in, I came across an Etsy shop that was selling real estate agent marketing packets. Basically, this is like a resume that a real estate agent would give to a buyer or a seller before they agreed to work together. So I combined my real estate experience with my Canva knowledge, and I made a few of these packets for myself and then listed them for sale. And a few months after that, they started selling. And the more sales that I got, the more I convinced myself that I could keep the ball rolling. So even though I made the decision early on to switch to a different niche, this remains one of the most profitable. For example, this shop called Creative Jam Company sells their resume templates for $2.20 on average. So with their 204,000 sales, that's close to $500,000. Here's another shop called Get Landed. They sell their resume templates for about $8 a download on average. And with their 87,000 sales, that puts them at around $699,000. Again, a digital download business is going to have a profit margin around 91%, and very little customer service compared to selling a physical product. And you don't have to worry about things breaking or getting lost in the mail. Now, they're making their resume templates for Google Docs and Microsoft Word, and they're not really even doing anything that fancy. They're just making classy looking resume templates. We could spend the $13 a month to get the Canva subscription and make resume design templates like these. There's a lot of existing templates that we can use as inspiration. Now, this works the same way as before, where if we wanted to sell a template we created, we can use the share template link. So the customer, when they buy from us, they get a copy of the resume and not the original. They can fill out all their information and they're good to go. So the customer gets a copy of our design and we can just keep selling it over and over. We could also make these templates completely for free in a program like Microsoft Word or Pages, like this shop has done, but they might come out looking a little bit nicer if we use Canva. Now, here's how we could take this one step further. We could use that same Midjourney AI to generate us some resume design templates. Now, this will really help with the design portion, so you're not copying someone else's templates. We would just have to rebuild the colors and the text boxes in our own software like Canva, since Midjourney won't spit out a resume template that's ready to use. So using Midjourney is probably only good for the design inspiration, but it'd probably be really useful. Now, as I mentioned, you could start this business completely for free, but it would likely pay off to have a program like Canva and potentially Midjourney as well. That means your monthly costs would be around $13 to $43. But now with all of those ideas out of the way, we can talk about the one that I'm most excited about. Honestly, I think any of those ideas would make an excellent business. But if I could go back to before I ever started selling on Etsy, and I had to start over completely from scratch, I would have started selling digital art. Now, this is probably one of the most profitable and passive ideas that I've covered, just because of the nature of it. But it's also probably the hardest one to execute really well. This shop that I've talked about before is selling digital art downloads, but not just any art. It's recreations of vintage paintings. Now, I can't be completely certain about this, but I speculate that they're using AI to generate some of these images. Now, this shop owner has over 1,000 listings, and if these were all her original works of art, this would cost her thousands of hours to paint or digitally make. At an average of $3 per image, with over 281,000 sales, that's over $845,000 in profit since she opened her shop less than 3 years ago. Now, I made a video on this business idea and how I would go about starting one of these businesses using AI generated images completely from scratch. This whole business model is pretty easy. You just generate some kind of art using AI, resize it into printable aspect ratios, and list those images as digital downloads on Etsy. As you learn how to use the AI better and better, your images would get better and better, and thus you'd make more money. Now, your costs would be at least $30 a month to start this business. It could also be worth investing in a program like Photoshop to get rid of any graphical errors that the AI creates, but there are some free alternatives to Photoshop as well. But I already made a video on this, so you should check it out if you're interested on how to actually implement this whole process. Now, hopefully you can see how you could build out some of these ideas into even bigger businesses, like the resume template business, for example. There are websites that generate hundreds of thousands of dollars by letting people fill out a resume live and then having them pay for it at the end to download it and use it. Or you could sell your logo design skills on freelance websites and make even more money doing that. Or you can just stick to Etsy and find massive success there, like all of these other sellers have done. Now, none of these businesses are a get rich quick, but with the low startup costs and a little bit of time on your side, I don't see why you couldn't be successful with any one of these. I've got videos going over other information that you might find useful, like how to get your first 100 sales, as well as a series where I'm growing a brand new print-on-demand Etsy shop completely from scratch, so you can see every step that I've taken along the way. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'd appreciate it if you hit subscribe. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. I have a ton of messages right now, but I'll respond to them as I get the chance. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.